if you're trying to build your own grassland ecosystem and suddenly you feel lost, congratulations, you're in the right place, because this is your 5-step guide to creating your own version of a grassland biome, one that feels alive, logical, and brutally consistent. This exact framework is the same one I used to build the grasslands of Terranova in my Arthronia project. If you want to see it in action, you can find the full application in episodes 30 to 34 inside the Arthronia playlist. Now, no more delays. Let's begin. Step 1. Start with the grass. In a grassland biome, grass is everything. Every animal trait, migration pattern, and predator-prey arms race traces back to a single core element: grass as the dominant species. Grass is not just food, it is a strategic survivor, co-evolving alongside herbivores for millions of years. Key adaptations that make grass so dominant. Growth nodes near the roots. Even if the leaves are completely grazed down, the plant survives. Rapid growth rates, creating a constant and renewable food supply. Silica-rich leaves, meaning only certain herbivores can eat it efficiently. Spreading root systems that stabilize soil and resist fire. Because of this, grass outcompetes most other plants, not by being stronger, but by surviving disruption better. So how does grass shape evolution? Herbivores evolve large guts, non-stop grazing behavior, seasonal migration to find fresh grass, and herding strategies to survive in open terrain. Carnivores are forced to develop speed, stamina, and cooperative hunting to catch prey that never stops moving. Scavengers thrive because massive herds inevitably create massive seasonal die-offs. The key takeaway: don't design the animals first, design the grass first. Ask yourself, how does this grass resist constant grazing? How fast does it regrow? How seasonal is its availability? Once you answer those questions, the entire ecosystem will begin to build itself, naturally. Step 2. Herbivores as the core of the grassland ecosystem. In grasslands, herbivores set the rules. Why? Because grass expects to be eaten. It evolved to survive grazing and trampling. Grass does not hide from herbivores. Herbivores actively seek it out. As a result, herbivores become the dominant biomass, the shapers of the landscape, the drivers of predator evolution, the primary resource for scavengers and decomposers. Why are herbivores so influential? First, they control nutrient flow. Energy flows from grass to herbivores, then to predators, followed by scavengers, and finally to decomposers. Every migration carries energy across the land. When herbivores move, nutrients move with them. Second, they decide who eats and who starves. In Arthronia, if grassland grasshoppers migrate east, predators in the west begin to starve and are forced to follow. In Africa, wherever buffalo herds migrate, lions inevitably follow. Herbivores don't just feed predators, they dictate predator survival. Third, they physically reshape the landscape. Grazing and trampling suppress tall grass growth, reducing cover for ambush predators. Herd digging alters terrain structure and soil composition. The land itself remembers where herbivores have passed. Fourth, they create ecological pulses. Mass deaths trigger sudden energy booms for scavengers. These pulses shape entire food webs on a seasonal scale. Fifth, they drive predator evolution. Examples: fast herbivores force predators to evolve greater speed or extreme endurance. Herbivores that rely on herd defense push predators toward pack hunting. When herbivores grow to gigantic sizes, predators adapt by targeting the young. Predators evolve in response, not in isolation. Sixth, herbivores also generate diversity. Different feeding strategies create entirely different body plans. Grazers, massive guts, flat grinding teeth, constant chewing of tough grass. Browsers, long necks or elevated feeding postures, access to. 7th, herbivores shape seasonality, wet season, breeding synchronized with rainfall cycles, birth time to peak nutritional availability. Dry season, plants regenerate only after herbivores migrate. Predators must migrate or starve. Scavengers thrive on drought-driven die-offs. Key takeaway. In grasslands, herbivores are not just prey, they are ecological architects. Before designing predators, ask, what is their movement strategy? Herding, solitary, nomadic? How do they feed? Grinding plates, swallowed stones, symbiotic microbes? How do they defend themselves? Speed, size, armor? Answer those questions, and the rest of the grassland will fall into place. Step 3. Predators are shaped as pursuers, not ambushers. In grassland ecosystems, the terrain decides how predators hunt. With vast open visibility and very few places to hide, surprise attacks rarely succeed. There are no dense forests, no endless shadows, only wind-swept grass and open sky. In this environment, predators cannot wait. They must chase. To survive here, you must rely on speed, endurance, and perfect timing. Hunting becomes a moving battle, catching prey while both of you are in motion. Every pursuit is fast, exhausting, and costly. Energy is burned quickly, and failure means starvation. Because of this, grassland predators evolve a distinct set of anatomical traits. They develop long legs built for speed across open ground. Their bodies become streamlined, reducing air resistance during high-speed chases. Their lungs and hearts enlarge to support sustained endurance. Strong hind legs and reinforced backs provide explosive acceleration, and cooperative behavior emerges, allowing groups to bring down prey far larger than any single hunter could manage. Ambush predators can still exist, but only under strict conditions. They must rely on tall grass, scattered trees, or underground burrows to conceal themselves. Without cover, ambush simply does not work. Key takeaways. When designing your grassland predators, ask yourself, how fast are the herbivores? Which matters more in this ecosystem, acceleration or long-distance stamina? Is cooperative hunting more effective than solitary pursuit? And when is prey at its most vulnerable? During migration, exhaustion, injury, or the dry season? In grasslands, predators do not wait in silence. They run, or they starve. Step 4. The Scavengers and the Burrowers. These are the two hidden pillars that stabilize a grassland ecosystem. Burrowers and Scavengers. Without them, grasslands would collapse into endless boom and bust population cycles. Let us begin with the burrowers. Burrowers do not directly compete with large herbivores. The difference lies in what they eat. Their food consists of roots, tubers, fungi, seeds, and small invertebrates. These resources are low in abundance but widely distributed and inaccessible to massive grazers. They live beneath the surface, building underground networks that protect them from open terrain dangers. Yet they are still hunted, becoming essential prey for predators that cannot rely solely on large herbivores. This creates balance. Predators are no longer forced to hunt only big grazers, which stabilizes prey populations. At the same time, burrowers enrich the soil through constant digging, aeration, and nutrient cycling. Now, the scavengers. Scavengers exist to prevent ecological catastrophe. Their role is simple, but critical. They convert dead organic matter back into usable nutrients. They remove rotting carcasses before disease can spread. They feed without the need to hunt living animals. In grasslands, death is abundant. Mass die-offs occur due to competition, drought, and migration failures. Predators leave behind remains from incomplete kills. All of this creates a constant supply of carrion. Scavengers turn that death into energy, and together, burrowers and scavengers keep the system alive when conditions worsen. When drought strikes, large herbivore populations decline. Predators suffer from scarcity, but burrowers and scavengers ensure that energy continues to flow through the ecosystem. They are not the stars of the grassland, but without them, the grassland cannot survive. Step 5. Seasonality creates survival pressure. In grasslands, the greatest threat does not come from predators. It comes from time itself. Conditions are never stable. Dramatic seasonal shifts decide who survives and who disappears. There are two defining seasons. The wet season is a time of abundance. Grass explodes across the plains. Prey populations rise. Birth rates peak. Herbivores spread out across the landscape. Predators are well-fed, efficient, and selective. Then comes the dry season. Grass withers and dies. The risk of starvation increases. Death rates climb. Herds are forced to migrate. Predators grow desperate, aggressive, and relentless. This cycle creates immense evolutionary pressure. First, grassland life must be built for long-term resilience. Survival is not about thriving in good times, but enduring the worst ones. Common adaptations include fat storage, seasonal migration, and reduced metabolism during droughts. Grasslands reward species that can survive scarcity, not those that only dominate abundance. Second, predator success flips with the seasons. During the wet season, predators target the weak and the newborn. During the dry season, they hunt the starving, the exhausted, or ambush prey at watering points. A predator that can hunt in only one season will eventually fail. Only year-round hunters endure. Third, herbivore behavior becomes highly predictable. Most herbivores give birth during the wet season. They follow the same migration routes year after year. During droughts, they gather at limited water sources. They move in massive herds for protection. Evolution favors predators that exploit these patterns. Fourth, juveniles define food availability. Seasonal breeding creates sudden waves of vulnerable prey. Young grazers with little experience and weak defenses. Predators synchronize their own reproduction to match this abundance. Mothers gain reliable food, and offspring learn to hunt when prey is plentiful. This is not coincidence. It is evolutionary timing. Key takeaways. Ask yourself, when is food abundant? When does scarcity dominate? Who breeds, and when? Which species migrate, and which are forced to stay? In grasslands, survival is not about strength alone. It is about timing. So, those are the core steps to building your own grassland biome. If you want to explore other approaches to speculative evolution, you can check the playlists I've already prepared. And if you want concrete examples you can study and learn from, you can also dive into my own speculative evolution project, Arthrogenesis, available in its dedicated playlist.